Now, Bobby, topic today, I really like this topic because this gets you the motivation factor. People say, "Oh, I don't like selling." It's not selling, it's sharing, and it's a numbers game. And if you're sitting on your hands saying, "I need more money today. I need to pay bills. I need to do this," and you have this broke mentality that guess what? I'm broke. I can't do anything. There is an opportunity for you because you know people. But we're talking the network marketing industry, direct sales, affiliate marketing. What's the best way to prospect?
Well, you hit it right on the head that you first gotta get your head right. And your head, if you say, I don't want to bother people, I gotta, people they're busy, they don't want to do this or that, then that's gonna be kind of playing in your head. That little film is gonna be playing, and then you're not gonna talk to people as many. You're almost gonna like wait for someone to fall in your lap who comes out and says, "Oh man, I need to make more money. You got anything?" That's not gonna happen. You gotta go out, put yourself out there. So you gotta have a mindset first that you're doing people a favor by trying to expose them to one of the things you're working with us on. And then from there, let them decide. And if you use the numbers game, there's enough out there looking. So once you get your head right, you get your pitch down. Okay. My simplest thing now, there's two ways to look at any networking business. It's the product or service you're marketing. You could lead with that, whether it's AI, whether it's travel, and you could use that as your stepping stone first, or you go right to the business model or some combination of them. So you could talk about your product, or you could say, hey, as simple as this, guys, how's this for the simplest pitch? Hey, Neil, do you ever keep your options open when it comes to looking at other ways to make money? Boom, done. Well, how you don't not to remember. You don't have to pontificate. It's just like you look at other ways to make money, Neil. And if he says, "Nah, I'm all set," then he probably is, or he's not. Probably most likely he's not all set, but he's not looking. But most people, I hope, would say, "Yeah, that sounds interesting. What are you talking about? What do you got?" And then it just goes to your next step. And the last part to that is so you get a little pitch down, you get your head right, and then you got to say, what's my goal? And I always like to say, talk to three people a day. If you talk to three people a day, you mention it. Let's say you just went up to someone at the gas station. Hey, you keep your options open. I don't mean to just blow that out. I mean you have a quick conversation with the
Right.
clerk that's ringing you up, and you just say, "Do you keep your options open when it comes to looking at other ways to make money?" She says, "Yes." You try to exchange numbers. The point is, if you talk to three people a day, you should get one person that will lead to, yeah, tell me more. Now you're into what I call you're into activity. Whether it's they're going to look at a video, you're going to have a 10 minutes conversation with them. So it's the numbers game of speak to three people a day. That should land you one person that's at least initially interested and to go to the next step. Does that make sense?
So three people a day, but do you create a list when you first start?
Well, if you're going to speak to three people a day, you obviously got your warm list, which is now we used to, write it down. Now we just have it all on our cell phone. Just go through your cell phone contact. I got 500 of them, maybe more, maybe 1,000. I don't know what I got. So you could start there. You could start Facebook. Just message people. Put something funny. They got those AI things. I'm into that now. Everyone starts dancing this funky dance. People will comment. Oh, that's a person. You reach back to them and say, "Yeah, isn't that a funny video I just posted? Hey, what do you do for work?" And then you get in a dialogue with them. So with social media, I think there's no way you can't and having your names list and people you meet at the grocery store or the clerk at the gas station. My point is, it's almost impossible not to run in or to be able to interact with three new people a day. Those are new people. Once you talk to them, they become follow-up. So if I'm calling you tomorrow, Neil, about what we talked about today, that's not one of my three. I already spoke to you. That's a follow-up process. You follow?
Yeah, no doubt, because and then you keep adding. It keeps adding in the process. And you talked about your phone. I mean, oh, I don't have any leads. You're full of it. You don't know what somebody's thinking today. Example, a former client contacted me today, called me, and I didn't know why she called me, and I'm too busy to talk to her right now. But that's the power of having a network of people you know that you can pick and choose. But
And
ultimately, at the end of the day, you
one more
never know
thing.
when they change their mind. And then 5 years later, like, you know what, I've been waiting 5 years, but I'm finally going to do this. Well, if you don't ask these people, it's not happening.
Yeah.
You just got to
And
ask. And
the other
people
thing
aren't
is
going to get
once
mad
you,
at you. And then if you see they are not interested, you say, hey, I'll keep you in mind. And you don't just keep selling that same person, you move on.
yeah, yeah, you don't be, that's one thing that gets a bad rap in network marketing. They said that you know, the NFL, no friends left. That's because people would pursue to the end. In other words, Neil, you look at us up now, Bob, I'm kind of busy, I'm all set. You know, a day later, Neil, you know, you got to look at this thing and look, go on. That's, you know, if you don't do three a day, then you're going to be holding on to Neil,
And you're
trying
talking
to get
about
him to
three
change
new
his
people
mind.
a day.
Three people, everyone can be three people a day. Don't worry, they can be warm market, cold market, social media contacts. I just told you, you know, people respond to a video, and then once they say, "Yeah, I'd like to," you know, tell me what this is about. Then you got to go into activity mode. That's when you write them down. See, if someone at the gas station, I say, you know, I keep little mental in my head, three a day, right? So one, two, three. I know my day's over if I spoke to three, but now one of them says, "Yeah, I'd like to know more." You got to put them on paper, and that's your activity list. Where sometimes you talk to Lewis, and he says, "I'll get on a Zoom Tuesday." He can't get there. He had something came up at work. You can't keep it all up here. Every Sunday, you look at your list and say, "There's Lewis, there's this guy, that guy. Where'd I leave off with them? Oh, this one's looking at a video. This one wants to try product." So you have to have what we call an active prospect list where you're keeping track of where you are. Just guys, it's just common sense. It's a project. Where'd I leave off with Neil? He said he wanted to look at a video. Did he look at it? Or do like a lot of people do. They don't write it down. And then they go 3 weeks later. Oh, that's right, Neil. I forgot to call him back. Yeah, you dumbass, because you didn't write it down. So you got to be organized.
And is it a numbers game in your opinion, being in this industry?
Well, why not? Because, you know, every dud knows a stud. So you don't pre qualify. And by the way, Neil, just to lead in, you know, besides the standard network marketing where the big money is, me and you are working on a feeder program where it's as low as one time. I call it one time because you should be able to find three people at $28 one month where you get paid some real good upfront money that could lead you into the bigger play. So we've got a $28 a month program. Now, you want to start talking about why shouldn't you talk to three people a day? You're not looking for, if you had to find three people a day that you were going to open your mouth to, but they had to have, you know, a law degree or a college degree, or they had to have $1,000 up front, you might start saying, well, I don't know if I can talk to three people a day. You gave me some limitations there. But when you're talking about a $28 one time out of pocket, who the hell can't do that? So you should be able to speak to the guy at the grocery store as one of your, and you really could do him a service and get him making 2-3 thousand a month if he's willing to work with you.
No doubt. So it's that simple.
Don't complicate it, but get off your. Like I said, what happens is if we don't set that goal, because three people a day, and if you get one that you're in activity with, think about that. That's 30 people a month that you're juggling the balls with. Who's getting on? Now, you might call them, getting a 10-minute call, and they blow you off, but you started some activity with them in your process. If we have 30 people a month, we should be able to enroll 2 or 3 of them into whatever play. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but in any network program, if you can bring in 2 or 3 people a month, you're going to be making 6 figures, because you're going to teach the same. They lead to a few, who leads to a few, and you network it down.
And it
So
builds
you don't have
up.
to bring in
And it builds
20
up.
people. Yeah, I mean, a couple people a month into your program, and you're going to be a superstar.
And basically the best way to do it is not to sell them completely. Really care about them before you go and ask them one question.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. You don't want you want to, and I generally feel, especially now with this feeder or starter program, I can impact. I just talked to a lady, Neil. She's got a huge nonprofit. She's got, I think, 40 other nonprofits that she is kind of a mentor towards. She works with veterans groups. Think about veterans. What are they doing to make
Yeah.
extra? We got kids. She works with the inner city
Right.
kids getting out of high school. What are their opportunities? Anybody can do one of these programs. So all it takes is a one superstar or a bunch of little people, and you could start making great residual income.
All right. Fantastic. Best place to go is next4million.com. Appreciate it, Bobby.
All right, Neil, you're the best.
That was a special simulcast. Neil